Alright, so we're going to continue with decorating on the side of the album, and I'm going to add the wood grain to the spine. So the wood grain is, I did have it written down, it is DBV 32093 and it's called Sunshine. It's got the frangipani and the hibiscus on the back of it. And I have got a little idea, sorry, I've already started taping it. I have got a little idea for decorating the spine, which I just need to work on. So I've lost my tape. I'm covering it with the tape. It's probably a little bit of overkill. I'm just going to add that to the side. Okay, so I've stuck that down, so I should now be able to just stick . I didn't do that too successfully, did I? There we go. Okay. Next up, we're going to go onto the inside, and I want to put a pockety type of thing here. So I have cut and I've prepped the pieces already. This is DB32109 called Driftwood, and I'm just going to put it on my scoreboard. So I just don't want to lose my notes. So it's going to open that way, and I'm putting it onto the scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 3.5. And I'm going to score at 9, and I'm hoping that my folds have all worked. Okay, there we go. So it's just a very simple sort of fold over pocket. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to stick it just yet, because I want to just do some modifications on it. Okay, so basically I'm wanting to stick it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick it centrally or just to the side, so that you can add some bits and pieces. I don't mind that these don't kind of fall in the score lines don't fall exactly on them. But I want something over here, and I want it to look a little bit more beachy than what it currently is looking. So I'm thinking also of having a pocket sort of at the back, and then what I want to do is I want to do like a little closure. So I'm not going to stick that any further. I'm just going to leave that there. That is my front cover, and that's kind of prepped as far as I can go for now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going on to the front insert. So these inserts, I don't think I added them on screen, but I cut it to 12 inches. So it's a 12-inch full sheet, and I've cut it to 10 3/4 inches. So it's 10 3/4, and then I've just scored it 7 inches. So this is a 5-inch flap, and what I want to do with that is, because I've used that paper over there, I'm going to tie it up on this side with this. So onto here, I'm just going to stick it down. I don't know how much glue I've got in here. Okay, so I'm going to stick that flat. Okay, like so. And that's going to go in there. And then what I thought of doing was, so that I don't waste this offcut, it was a 6-inch piece, I'm just going to take the offcut and add it to the inside of this. And this is just going to create some extra photo mats. Like so. Alright, so that is creating your, it's your insert, but not only is it your insert, it's also going to be your closure. And I had written here, strip for the inside to hide the magnets. And did I put the magnets on? Of course I didn't put the magnets on. So let's see if I'm too late or whether I can lift it. This glue is a lot more forgiving than let's see if I can slide the magnets in. There we go, managed to open it. So I'm just going to slide the magnets in if I can find them, because they stuck. I remember working with them the other day and they stuck to something. It's like a whole pile. There they are. So I'm just going to pop the magnets underneath. Not too much damage done, hopefully. And at least my magnets is there for my closure for later. Let's just pop it in there and push it underneath. Maybe I should read my notes. So okay, so we have our magnets just pushed in here. So that's going to help at a later stage when I come to do my closure and to make sure it closes properly. Because if you remember, we have got this page as well. So we want something that, number one, is going to keep to apologize, it's going to keep the flap in place, number one, and number two, it's going to hold the magnets, it's holding this in place and it's also holding this closed. So the next thing that I want to do for this page is I want to bring in a bit of this frangipani. Okay, so I'm going to cut a frame. So this is a piece that I cut off, and it is, or did I cut it? No, I cut it 7 inches, but I think it's 6 1/4. Yeah, it's an offcut. So I'm going to just take my pencil and I'm going to work carefully on the back, and I'm going to measure 3/4 from the top and mark it, and I'm going to measure 3/4 from the bottom and mark it. I'm going to do the same on this side, 3/4 and mark it, and 1 2 3/4 and mark it. Okay, then I am going to join those marks up just while I'm doing it, because otherwise I'm going to not be able to find them because of all the little dotties on the paper. Okay, right, then I'm going to measure from the side in 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. Let's join those up. That looks more like an inch to me. Yep, 3/4 of an inch. Don't know why I drew an inch there, that was a bit daft. So if I just check it against, hold dip. Three-quarters of an inch and 3/4 of an inch over here, and then join them. Okay, so I've drawn in pencil. You can't see this one very well, but I've drawn in pencil, and what I want to do is very carefully cut out the center piece. So let's just put that to the side. I'm going to come in with my craft knife, and I'm going to mark off the corners. So where those lines intersect, I'm just going to place a little line. Gosh, this one's hard to see. Don't want to draw it in pen because we're going to use both sides. Okay, so hopefully now when I cut it, I'm going to get absolutely beautiful lines. Okay, so putting my and then you'll get to where you've made those little marks, and you then stop so you don't go over. The intersecting lines. If that makes sense. I'm battling to see these. So we want to keep, whoopsie, we want both of these. Now that I've just tucked that away. And what I'm thinking of doing, so that's going to go over there. This is the piece I've just cut. Is I'm going to keep that as the mat, and I'm going to raise this, stick this onto another piece, onto a piece of cardboard, and raise it and cut it so it's got like a little fancy cut, and this then becomes my photo mat. Right, so when it closes, that's kind of what you see, and before it closes, and before I forget, I do want to add a blade or something. This is now stuck. I want to add something for my closure. I don't think I'm going to need a second magnet. There's not heaps of stuff going in. Oh, let's just add a second magnet. Second magnet, not 2 second magnets. Okay. Right, so we're going to come in and we're going to mark the magnet. So the easiest way to do it is to position this, first of all, position this exactly where you want the closure to be. Then you're going to come in with your glue. I use a white glue, and you're going to close it in place, open it, remove the magnet, and remember to stick it down the same way the glue has been taped. you're then going to cut your piece of double-sided tape, and you're just going to pop it over the top. Now you won't see that because we're going to have a photo mat and we're going to have our little frame, and it's going to sit something like that. So page 1, or the first part of page 1 done. Then we're going to open up. Unfortunately, there's somebody walking down the road, and we have got a space to put a fair few photos there. So I haven't decided how I'm going to do those. I've just got this far for now and there. Right, flipping over, this is page 2 and 3. We've got to make some what do you call these things? Some inserts for here so that we can change up our photos. And the whole idea with this was that the photo goes in like so, and then when you want to change it up, I'm going to make some more. I have my nails done today, and so they're short and I can't pick up anything. And then when you don't want that one, we're going to pop it behind. We can change them out. So we need to make some inserts that go here, and I suggest that you don't go massively big. I suggest that the maximum you go is 6.5 inches. You could go a little bit taller than the actual page, but if you went 6.5 by 6 3/4, that would be probably the biggest you would go. This piece that I have here is 7 by 6 1/4. Okay, so there's 7. Oh, there's your 7 by 6 1/4, which I actually think is quite a nice size because it fits in really nicely, and you should be able to get it from behind. You should be able to pull it out, and you should be able to store a good couple of photos behind here. So that is your sizing. Let's go with work with this size, and we're going to cut a few of these. I'm not going to cut them now, but I am going to write the size on here so we can see it. So it was 6 1/4 by 7 inches, 6 1/4 by 7 inches. And then to this, I think that's a pretty good size. We could go a little bit, maybe a little bit wider, maybe 1/4 of an inch, a little bit more. So maybe 6.5 by 7 would be a great fit. This is a good fit. Right. That would give you a little bit on either side. Okay, I haven't stuck this down. I haven't finished anything on this page. I'm going to come back to this. I was thinking that we've already got quite a lot happening here, but I do have this idea in my head which I'll show you. Sorry, I'm rambling on a bit now. I want to use these, and I'm wondering whether they'll work with an acetate, something with acetate as well. So let's pop those to the side. Moving on to this page, I have cut these 4 little pieces, and I've got these the frames. So there's the 4 big frames so that you can put sort of decent sized photos into them, and I've got these 4. They are 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. And so all we're going to do with these, I'm going to prep them. I'm not going to stick them down. I have already started with my scoring, so you're just going to pop them on your scoreboard and score at 5 3/4. Okay, so they'll be 5 1/4 by 5 3/4. We've got 4 of those prepped. Okay. And then what I thought of doing with these over here was I was going to add these to the base page. So there's this sort of continuation of the surfboards. So I'm going to add them using a bit of double-sided tape. I've actually gone too close to the edge for that one. I need it to be a little bit further down, just so I can tuck some bits in. Same on this side, but we're not going to make the mistake on this side that we're putting the tape too high. So just that little sort of 1/4 inch space gives us a space to add tuck bits and pieces in as well. Alright, so I don't know whether to go in the middle or whether to move it down and have a small border along the bottom. I think I'm going to do that. I can always move it because I've got the glue undo. And I want to do this first before I start adding these in. Just trying to eyeball this. Okay, hopefully I've got those straight. Now these 3 here, 4 here, what I thought of doing was adding them inside, or adding them, shouldn't have stuck that down. I've left this side open so I can really easily stick them in here, and it's not going to affect this one at all. But let's just tape these on the wrong side. I also had an idea, well, I'm not sure whether I should or shouldn't do it, whether I should cut these to the shape of the these dogs are driving me insane. People just, they hoot continually. So that one can pop in there like so. And then Zara just barks at everything. It drives me to distraction. Okay, so that is going to fit in there. This is just my thought process that I'm sharing with you. Then onto that, you will have your frames attached. So the orange frame is a bit of a problem because it is super big, but I suppose you could always have it so it goes over a little bit. Then these little guys here, I don't have anything to attach them underneath to, so they would need to be a top attachment, which is why I shouldn't have stuck that down. I can always come in and add a little something over the top. So this is kind of what the vibe was, that we've got the space for these photos here, like so. So that, sorry, so crooked. I do apologize. My head must be crooked. Alright, so that was kind of the idea that I was going for. And then my other idea was that I would stick these down and maybe cut around the edge. And I'm just not sure yet whether I am or aren't. I think it would look better if you didn't see this paper. So possibly, are these two the same size? Yes, they are. Okay, so I'm possibly thinking that that's the way it should work. And then from there, the underneath will then work as a normal kind of, this will fit into the double page layout kind of thing. The other option is I take these away and I just have them on the page doing their thing. Okay, so whatever it is, I'm going to be using it somewhere on this page. It could even be like so. So I'm not going to stick this page, do anything further on this page, because to this I'm going to add some other bits and pieces. Alright, so let's turn over and do the next little bit of prep. Okay, so this one we're doing the prep, we are bringing in this DB 32079, and we're going to do exactly the same as what we did to the front. And I'm hoping that I have a little offcut of this somewhere so that I can do the same on the back and add the magnets. Whoops, on my jackets. Right, now before we forget, let's add the magnets. And this magnet, I'm just putting it in line with where the other one is, because otherwise we're going to have issues. This will just prevent any issues. I can always cover it with something. Okay, and then to that I'm adding the other side. All Zara box at who knows what. Just remember, when you take your magnet off, you need to stick it down the same side where the glue is. Don't think that like the glue is there, you're going to turn it over. Nope, you need to stick it with the gluey side down. Okay, there we go, that's in place. And we're going to cut another one of those what do you call them, frames. So turning over, this is going to be beautiful. Turning over, I'm going to have to work with something a little bit darker than this pencil. I've got those erasable pens. I wonder if purple will stand up. Let's try pink. I don't know how well it's going to erase. Okay. Right, let's mark off 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch there. And there, and there, and there. Let's join them up. Same on this side, let's join them up. Right, then we're going to measure 3/4 of an inch from this side. This is 7 1/8. So technically, if I use my ruler now, I should have a really beautiful 3/4 of an inch. Don't really have to draw the whole thing either, because it's only the corners that I need for now. Right, let's cut these little babies. So there is my little frame all cut, ready to go underneath. And there is my photo mat ready to go inside. So kind of killed two birds with one stone, didn't I? I might just raise that. I don't want, yeah, it will just be the frame that's raised. This will be stuck down afterwards, and then just remember that when we close it, it will be closed like that, so that kind of ties in. So that's as far as I have prepped for now. I shall continue to work on it and come up with a little idea for these babies, and also decide exactly how I am going to work these. But I kind of like the idea of having them opening at the top and possibly working with the paper so that you don't kind of see too much of what's holding them in place. So that's it for now.